Hello, welcome to Microsoft Azure Quiz 2. Here in this video, we'll have a lot of questions about storage infrastructure in Azure. This quiz will help how to prepare for the interview and also help Azure certifications, Azure fundamentals, Azure administrator, Azure solution architect. We will have about 20 questions and multiple choice answers. Let's start the quiz. Question 1. A JSON file is an example of which type of data? A. Structured, B. Semi-structured, C. Unstructured. So, all unstructured data is often delivered in files. A semi-structured data contains tags that make the organization and hierarchy of the data apparent. So here is the right option, option B, semi-structured. So if you go to my previous sessions, Azure Cosmos database session, you can see how JSON file looks like. In Azure Cosmos DB, we can upload data using only JSON format. So there we can create containers, database IDs, and we can load data only in JSON formats. If you want to take a look at JSON file, you can go to my Azure Cosmos database sessions and check the JSON file format. Let's go to question 2. A video is an example of which type of data? Structured, B. Semi-structured, C. Unstructured. We just discussed how the semi-structured data file looks like. Example, JSON format, JSON file. But all unstructured data is often delivered in files. A video may have an overall structure, but the data that comprises the video itself is unstructured. Here, option C is the right answer. Let's go to question 3. Which type of transactional database system would work best for product data? Option A, OLAP. Option B, OLTP. Before we pick answer, let's compare OLTP was OLAP. Transactional databases are often called OLTP, online transaction processing systems. OLAP, online analytical processing systems commonly support few users, have longer response time, can be less available, and typically handle large and complex transactions. But OLTP systems commonly support lots of users, have quick response times, and handle large volumes of data. And they're also highly available, meaning they have very minimal downtime and typically handle small or relatively simple transactions. Okay, so here in the question says which type of transactional database system would work best for product data. So here is the right answer, OLTP. OLTP systems support a large set of users, have quick response times, handle large volumes of data, and are highly available and great for small or relatively simple transactions. So here is the right answer, option B, OLTP. Question 4. Suppose the operations to update inventory and process pay times are in the same transaction. A user is attempting to apply store credit for the full amount of an order and submitted exact same order using their phone and laptop at the same time. So two identical orders are received. The database behind the scene is an complaint database. What would happen? So here user is trying to apply store credit with two devices, phone and laptop, same time. Now we need to choose an answer. So how these two orders reflected? Option A, both orders would be processed and use in store credit. Option B, one order would be processed and use the in store credit, and the other order would update the remaining inventory for the items in the basket but would not complete the order. Option C, one order would be processed and use in store credit, and the other order would not be processed. Once the second order determined that the in-store credit has already been used, it would roll back the transaction. So we just discussed about OLAP versus OLTP. So here is the right answer, option C. One order would be processed and use the in-store credit, and the other order would not be processed. Suppose you have two video files stored as blobs. One of the videos is business critical and requires a replication policy that creates multiple copies across geographically diverse data centers. The other video is non-critical and a local replication policy is sufficient. We need to choose true or false. To satisfy these constraints, these two blobs will need to be in separate storage accounts. So here we need two accounts because one storage account for business critical application and another storage account for non-critical application. So we need to create two separate storage accounts to meet this requirement. So here is the right answer, true. Question 6. The name of your storage account must be option A, unique within the containing resource group. Option B, unique within your Azure subscription. Option C, globally unique. So remember, whenever you're creating a storage account, it must be unique globally. So example, if you're creating a storage account, example demo1, your storage account name is demo1. So you are trying to create the demo1 storage account, but the Azure doesn't accept that name. That means someone has already using that name for their storage account. So you must choose a different name. So it must be unique. So option C is the right answer, globally unique. Question 7. In a typical project, when would you create your storage account? Option A, at the beginning during project setup. Option B, after deployment when the project is running. Option C, at the end during resource cleanup. So here let's check option A seems correct. At the beginning during project setup. So we must create a project storage account before the project setup. Storage accounts are usually stable for the lifetime of a project. So it is common to create them at the start of a project. Question 8. How many access keys are provided for accessing your Azure storage account? Option A 1, option B 2, option C 3, option D 4. Each storage account has 2 access keys. This lets you follow the best practice guideline of periodically replacing the key used by your applications without incurring downtime. If you go to my previous sessions, there are 2 modules that explain about how these how these storage services in Azure. And there is one more session. It tells how to use Azure Storage Explorer. Question 9. You can use either the REST API or the Azure Client Library to programmatically access a storage account. What is the primary advantage of using the client library? Option A, cost. B, availability. C, localization. D, convenience. Code that uses the client library is much shorter and simpler than code that uses REST API. The client library handles assembling requests and parsing responses for you. Here is the right answer, option D, convenience. Question 10. Which of the following is a good analogy for the access keys of a storage account? Option A, IP address. Option B, REST endpoint. Option C, username and password. Option D, cryptographic algorithm. Here, option C is the right answer. Possession of an access key identifies the account and grants you access. This is very similar to login credential like a username and password. Question 11. You are working on a project with a third-party vendor to build a website for a customer. The image assets that will be used on the website are stored in an Azure Storage Account that is held in your subscription. You want to give read access to this data for a limited period of time. What security option would be the best option to use? Option A, host support. Option B, storage account. Option C, shared access signature. So what you can do, you can create a storage account in Azure and you can go to the configure settings and you can choose which connections can access the storage account. So you can choose the IP addresses and you can choose this shared access signature. So here is the right answer, option C. Question 12. When configuring a network access to your Azure storage account, what is the default network rule? A, to allow all connections from all networks. B, to allow all connections from a private IP address range. Option C, to deny all connections from all networks. When you're creating a storage account, you can choose all these settings and you can allow a particular IP address range. You can allow only public IP address range. You can set up deny all connections from all network. But in the question says, what is the default network rule? Option A is the right answer, to allow all connections from all networks. When you're creating a storage account, you can see this. Option A is the right answer, to allow all connections from all networks. Question 13. Which Azure service detects anomalies in account activities and notifies you of potential harmful attempts to access your account? Option A, advanced threat protection. Option B, Azure Storage Account security feature. Option C, encryption in transit. So when you create a storage account in Azure, you can set up all the network connections, everything, and also you can enable advanced threat protection. So what advanced threat protection does, it detects anomalies in account activities and notifies you potential harmful attempts to access your account. So here is the right answer, option A, advanced threat protection. Question 14. You have been asked by a local manufacturing company that runs dedicated software in their warehouse to keep track of stock. The software needs to run on machines in the warehouse, but the management team wants to access the output from the head office. The limited bandwidth available in the warehouse caused them problems in the past when they tried to use cloud-based solution. You recommend that they use Azure Files, which is best method to sync the files with the cloud. So here is we can see using Azure File Sync, we can access files from Azure. But let's check the answers. Option A, create an Azure file shares and directly mount shares on the machines in the warehouse. Option B, use a machine in the warehouse to host a file share. Install Azure File Sync and share a drive with the rest of the warehouse. Option C, install Azure File Sync on every machine in the warehouse and head office. Option B is the right answer. Use a machine in the warehouse that hosts a file share. Install Azure File Sync and share a drive with the rest of the data warehouse. We can choose the service Azure File Sync to sync on-premises files to Azure. So we can access files even if we lost files in on-premises, we can still access the files from Azure Data Center using Azure File Sync. Question 15. The manufacturing company has a number of sensors that record time relative data. Only the most recent data is useful. The company wants the lowest cost storage for this data. What is the best kind of storage account for them? Option A, locally redundant storage. Option B, geographical redundant storage. Option C, zone redundant. So here the manufacturing company has a number of sensors that record time relative data. Only most recent data is useful. So if you want to choose the lowest cost storage for this data, we would go for locally redundant storage service. It is the lowest service offered by Azure. And the next level is zone redundant. And the next one is geographical. So here is the right answer, locally redundant storage service. So option A is the right answer because the company wants the lowest cost storage for this data. So locally redundant is the right answer. Question 16. The manufacturing company's finance department wants to control how the data is being transferred to Azure files. They want a graphical tool to manage the process, but they don't want to use the Azure portal. What tool do you recommend they use? Option A, Azure Data Box. Option B, RoboCopy. Option C, Azure Storage Explorer. So if you want to access any of the files or any storage accounts, you can use Azure Storage Explorer. If you go to my previous sessions in my channel, you can see Azure Storage Explorer session. So there you can see how to access that tool and how you can log into Azure Storage account using that Storage Explorer tool. And using Storage Explorer tool, you can create containers, you can create a file shares. That session tells you all about Azure Storage Explorer. So here is the right answer, Azure Storage Explorer. Question 17. Which of these disk roles should you use to store a set of help videos that explain how to use the accounting application. A. OS disk. B. Data disk. C. Temporary disk. So when you are choosing a disk, if you choose a temporary disk, it will delete all the data because it is just a temporary. And then option A is operating system disk. So we should pick a data disk to store a set of help videos or to store any kind of data. We should choose a data disk. Option B is the right answer. Question 18. You have a business critical database and you want to store it on a virtual disk with 99.999% availability. What kind of disk should you use? A. An ephemeral disk. B. An unmanaged disk. C. A managed disk. Option C is the right answer, a managed disk. So here for high critical applications, for high availability, we choose managed disk. So Azure will take care of all the management activities for this kind of disk. So here is the right answer, option C, a managed disk. Managed disk gives high availability. Question 19. You need the best disk performance for a new virtual machine. What disk type should you use, assuming all disk types are supported in your region? Option A, Ultra SSD. Option B, Premium SSD. Option C, Standard HDD. So if you see option A, Ultra SSD, it is available for a few regions, but it is high standard disk. For all business critical applications, it gives a higher performance. So if Ultra SSD available, we should pick Ultra SSD. But Ultra SSD is available for few regions. But here in the question says assuming all disk types are supported in your region. So I would pick option A, Ultra SSD. And Premium SSD, let's check option B. Premium SSD, it is available all regions, and this is also gives high performance. But compared to Ultra SSD gives more performance and it is available for few regions. And option C, Standard HDD, it gives performance high low performance, and also we see some low latency issues. We see latency issues. So here is the right answer, option A, Ultra SSD. Assuming all disk types are supported in your region. So here is the right answer, option A, Ultra SSD. Question 20. You have a medium-sized application with modest I/O requirements. However, you need to ensure that a throughput of 25 Mbps is guaranteed. What disk type should you use? A. Premium SSD. B. Standard SSD. C. Standard HDD. Option A is the right answer. Premium SSD, it gives high performance. So, and also in the question say ensure that a throughput of 25 Mbps is guaranteed. So option C and B we can ignore because they're for not critical application, but they give slow performance compared to premium SSD. Option A, Premium SSD, is the right answer. Question 21. For the administrative web interface server, suppose you want to use Azure Backup to protect the content of virtual machine disk. How would this requirement change the disk type you choose? Option A, use standard SSDs instead of standard HDDs. Option B, use premium SSDs instead of standard HDDs. Option C, no changes needed. Let's check question very clear. For administrative web interface servers, suppose you want to use Azure Backup to protect content of virtual machine. To meet this requirement, we don't have to change anything. When we use Azure, we can do a backup. We can do virtual machines backup using record service word. So when we create that plan, we don't have to change anything. So here is the right answer, option C. Question 22. For the standby database servers, suppose that requirements change. You decide that a minimum IOPS of 1100 is absolutely required at all times. How would this requirement change the disk type you choose? A. Use premium SSDs instead of standard SSDs. Option B. Use standard HDDs instead of standard SSDs. Option C. Use managed disk instead of managed disk. Option A is the right answer. Premium SSDs give high performance and low latency issues, and this is where latest disk service available in Azure. So here, right answer, option A. Use premium SSDs instead of standard SSDs. So we covered almost all sample questions that helps prepare for interview. We discussed about all questions, storage infrastructure in Azure. If you still have any questions or anything, you can check my previous sessions. I explained Azure Storage Explorer. I explained Azure Storage Services. Thank you.